everybody, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia Sports. Again, if you are new to this channel and you haven't yet subscribed, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. But we are drafting you nonetheless, 21st overall to be our shiny new wide receiver. We're slinging you up the deep subscribe touchdown. All you've got to do is catch it, okay? Do not drop it. Do not become Nelson Aguilar, who went from a $9 million deal to a $1 million deal in Oakland. So don't do that. We're so happy that you're willing to make time in such a stressful period to watch and read and listen to what we put out. It means everything to all of us here at PSN. And as a thank you, as always, 20% off of Philly Sports Network merchandise with the code SLAYDAY, which is a good code to use still because England is currently on lockdown. They're following in suit of the Eagles, who traded for Darius Slay. But more on that a little bit later with the coronavirus joke. We're on a hot note. We're starting good. Also, before we get started, super special announcement. We have a live stream and a podcast coming to you on Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's probably the biggest thing we've ever done, and it could be the start of something absolutely incredible. I'm talking about something that no other outlet has, that no other blog has, no other YouTube channel has. This will be ridiculously exciting if the pieces fall into place. So all we need from you is your love and support on Friday evening at 7 o'clock. We're going to be streaming something. I can't quite reveal what just yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you tune in. Before we get to the Eagles, let's just check on the rest of teams in Philadelphia and see if there's any big news that we may have missed in the last 7 days.
Years ago, they tried to put me in the. This is a lie.
No, been about as eventful as my love life, that. Not great. Obviously, coronavirus safety takes precedent, and on that note, I hope you guys are all keeping safe and your families are well at this time. Make sure you look out for one another. I know stresses and mental health, especially in a period like this, can be quite exhausting. So my DMs are always open if anyone just wants to vent judgment-free, and make sure you're there for your friends as well. But on to the news. It has been a chaotic first week of free agency for the Philadelphia Eagles, but the roller coaster may be only just beginning. At the end of the week, after things were beginning to die down and settle, a report came out from Pro Football Talk citing that cornerback Rasul Douglas is indeed being shopped, and it's not really surprising. The Eagles traded for the services of Darius Slay and made him the highest paid cornerback in the league. Ooh, but more on that later. And you'll notice a pattern among current Eagles cornerbacks where they're all under 6 foot, so they're doing the Tinder bios justice, except for Rasul Douglas, who's sort of like a wacky, wailing, inflatable arm flailing tube man of a cornerback. Rangy, ball hawk, just doesn't really fit this system. He was shopped around the NFL draft last year. He's going to be shopped again this time. He doesn't have the deep speed needed to keep up with some of the faster wide receivers. And when you look at some of the in-division receivers the Eagles will be facing over the next few years, you can see why they'd maybe be more willing to move on from him than someone like Avonte Maddox or Sidney Jones. It's disappointing. I'm a big Rasul supporter. I felt he should have been moved to safety years ago, but what do I know? But what team would trade for Rasul Douglas, and what could they possibly give up? I wrote an article on phillysportsnetwork.com, so what I thought would be a good idea is to condense it all down, all into one big pie for you to eat. Yeah, the pie.
Hi Jenny, Wernham Hog is one big pie, and if they've let me in charge of that one big pie, I'll be in charge of the pie and the people of the fruit. And
I don't have time for the pie thing,
You don't want it, no.
So I had 3 offers that I looked at. Obviously, the Jaguars spring to mind. They need cornerbacks. They traded Bouye. And yes, Takis Denard is all right, but beneath that, the depth chart isn't great. I mean, I could walk in there and probably still be all right. I wonder who the Eagles could be trading for on the Jags. There definitely isn't anyone that's posting on social media about wanting to join the Eagles or is out there liking tweets about the Eagles or posting. There is, it's Yannick Ngakoue. So what I did was compare what the Niners gave up for Frank Clark last year and figured out a rough value for Rasul Douglas at this time. I really do think though that the Jags are trying to win now, so as much as a 2021 first would be great, the Eagles are probably going to make the playoffs, hopefully a bit further than last year. It will be higher than 21. They won't want it. I think the only way to get them in is to give them the first round pick this year. So if they go for Ngakoue, as much as the Eagles want to retain that first round selection, to get that man specifically, I think they'd give it up. And he may be the only exception.
You are the only exception
To the rule. So in exchange for Ngakoue, who would demand a contract extension, and word on the street has it that he's just waiting to see what Jadeveon Clowney gets, who has also just declined a $17 million deal, so that's fun. I think the Eagles would have to give up a 2020 first, a 2020 fourth. They have 3 in that round, 2 of them being compensatory picks, and then Rasul Douglas. That, in my mind, is at least theoretical enough to get that over the line. The second one is with the Texans and sees the Eagles trading for offensive tackle Roderick Johnson.
Very well. I shall release Roderick. Sir, we don't have a Roderick either. No what, sir? No Roderick? Sorry, sir.
Now, yes, the Texans just signed him to a 1-year deal, but let's not forget, Carl Allen did that, and he's now in Washington, so... Eagles let Halapoulivaati Vaitai secure a monumental bag in free agency, and that's cool, but now their primary backup tackle is Jordan Mailata. They need someone a bit more experienced just to tide you over for a year while Mailata continues to grow. I think Johnson could be that guy. He's 26 years old, started 3 games for the Texans last year, played in all 16, and had a 67.9 grade on Pro Football Focus, which is only a few worse than Vaitai, who had a 72, so... Only allowed 3 sacks on 347 snaps, so... Ooh! So to get Johnson, who is still a backup at this time, I've got the Eagles giving up Rasul Douglas and a 6th round pick to a secondary that ranked 29th in pass defense last year. And yes, Bradley Roby is good, but that's 1 cornerback, and you need 2 more, Houston. You need 2 more. And let's not forget that AFC divisional game, because yikes. I would think that gets it over the line. The Eagles end up basically switching a player on a 1-year deal for Rasul Douglas in his contract year. Now the last one is my favourite one. It sees the Eagles walking up to the Arizona Cardinals and realising that they traded away David Johnson and picks just to get their hands on DeAndre Hopkins. Now their starting trio at the minute is Hopkins, Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk, who, if we roll back the clock, had some time with Aaron Moorhead during his stint at Texas A&M. And those numbers, pretty damn good. Oh, then, Christian Kirk is coming off of a 700-yard season, and he's also going to be in line for a big payday, which, in a couple of years, where Cardinals have to be very wary here and understand that, hey, we're going to have to pay Kyler Murray, we've just paid DeAndre Hopkins, we're going to need a new wide receiver too when the ageless wonder finally retires, and let's not forget the entire defense, who allowed 282 passing yards per game last year. Fun. So I think Rasul Douglas and a 3rd round pick for Christian Kirk would get it over the line. That gives the Eagles a slot receiver, tick another box. It then enables them to go and draft a speedster at 21 without having to worry about double dipping. The Cardinals would do this because they need cornerback help, and B, it's a really deep class 4 slot receivers with guys like Devin Duvernay and Courtney Davis. I can just see them being a bit more open to that. As for the Eagles in free agency, how are they doing so far? I would say pretty good. Javon Hargrave is an under-the-radar steal. I'm totally bought into that notion. And then there was that calm before the storm when nobody really knew what was happening. And then, just as every other corner started flying off the board, Darius Slay traded to the Eagles. 3rd and a 5th. They're making the highest paid corner on the league on average. They've got 3 years of very, very strong cornerback play. They've got a star that they haven't had at that position since the days of Asante Samuel. We're not talking piggyback Maxwell. We're talking a genuine star, all right? Now, I want to clear something up. I am a big fan of the Darius Slay move. But if you're going to position to me a Lamborghini fan, a brand new Lamborghini, or a Ferrari that is more expensive and doesn't quite fit my driving style, I'm gonna take the Lamborghini. I want the Lamborghini. I wanted the Lamborghini. Obviously, the Lamborghini's now in Miami, alright? We're gonna ignore that. So now we're talking about the Ferrari that is purring, it's beautiful, it's red. Slay will be wearing number 24 to pay homage to his childhood hero Kobe Bryant, which is a very touching sentiment by him. It's going to obviously warm the hearts of Philadelphia fans everywhere, and I just can't wait to see him ball out. There's going to be a film ring coming on him very soon, but overall this free agency period is very good. The only move I'm on, Jatavis Brown, who's tackling in the open field isn't great, alright? It's not good. Now again, there will be film rooms on every free agency signing, so don't panic, we've got a lot coming your way. But overall, the Eagles have attacked free agency with the intent of freeing up those draft assets to go real deep in the draft, real attacking in terms of getting speed. I think Patrick Queen could be in play at number 21, although I don't really see it. I would gush over it, like literally gush over it, but I can't see it happening. But this draft class is loaded with speed. The Eagles now shouldn't be drafting a defensive tackle. They've got 4 very capable names. In my opinion, that now becomes one of the deepest position groups in the NFL. Defensive end might not even be in play because it's going to free Malik Jackson up to go and play that 5-tech position, which again is a great boost to that Eagles pass rush. Cornerback, you've got a CB1, so that's fantastic. The only real needs that haven't been addressed at all is wide receiver. Outside of that, I mean, you might need a backup tackle, and you're going to probably need a 3-down Mike linebacker, but outside of that, this has just been very, very solid from Howie Roseman. The Eagles don't tend to splash cash in free agency, but this year
Comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
It's very hard to see why fans would be anything less than fully satisfied. And I think the one move that's going to cause a little bit of dismay is the departure of Malcolm Jenkins. But you bring in someone like Will Parks, who is a Philly kid, who grew up here, who loves the city, is already interacting with fans on social media. He's put a video up with him having the helmet on. He loves it. He wants to play it. He took less money to play it in Philadelphia. I love that. I think that's going to replace that heart and intensity. I think keeping Jalen Mills around as a vocal leader in that secondary is going to do the same. And Darius Slay as well, someone who has also been revered as a vocal leader on a defense that has struggled at times. So you lose a lot in Malcolm Jenkins, but you gain a lot in those other 3 players. So it kind of negates it. And the money that you lose in letting someone like Jenkins go then pays for Mills and McLeod to remain. So it really is cutting your nose to spite your face. And at the end of the day, they're business decisions. And I think that's what Howie Roseman has become best at, is making those tough, hard-nosed business decisions. If I was going to grade this free agency so far without getting too deep on the players after spamming you guys with content this week, I'll give it a B+. I mean, I'm very, very excited about it. The only reason it's not an A is because, well, the Lamborghini's in Miami, isn't it? So, it's alright. Not bothered. I'm fine. But that is it for another video, guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, tick the bell for notifications, and leave a like if you enjoy this content. From myself, Liam Jenkins, you can follow me at Liam Jenkins PSN. I'll see you soon.